Hello. In this video we're going to be finding the greatest common factor for each of these pairs of numbers or monomials. So what we're looking at here in number 1 is 28 and 70. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the prime factors of each number. So 28 will factor into 2 and 14. 14 is not prime, that factors into 2 and 7. And so we have the primes 2, 2, and 7 that multiply to make 28. So I'll make a note of that over here. 28 is the same as 2 times 2 times 7. Or maybe I should say that it's the same as 2 squared times 7. Alright, if I'm looking at the number 70, 70 has a 2 that goes into it, leaving us with 35 when we divide out the 2. 35 is not prime. That can factor out a 5 and a 7. So 70 is the same as 2 times 5 times 7. Now the greatest common factor is going to be the largest number that divides out of both of these numbers, 28 and 70. So both 28 and 70, if we look at their, over here, if we look at their factorizations, they both contain a 2, and they both contain a 7. Now 2 times 7 makes 14. And so 14 should be the largest number that divides out of both. As you can see from the 28, 2 times 7 would make 14, but 14 times that 2 makes 28. In the 70, we have the 14 from the 2 and the 7, and times that last 5 would make 70. So 14 is the GCF, or the greatest common factor, for 28 and 70. It's the largest number that divides into both. In number 2, we're looking at 12 x squared y to the third and 30 x y to the fourth. So for 12 x squared y to the third, well, I'm going to look at 12 first. 12 can break into 2 and 6 into 2 and 3. So 12 x squared y to the third is the same as 2 times 2, or 2 squared, times 3 times x squared y to the third. In the 30 x y to the fourth, the 30 can break into 2 and 15. Then we can take a 3 out, leaving us with 5. So 30 xy to the fourth will be 2 times 3 times 5 times x y to the fourth. And so once again, we'll look at our list of factors and see what goes into both 12x squared y to the third and 30xy to the fourth. Of those numbers, well, they both contain a 2. Even though the one in red has 2 2's, the one in blue only has 1, so we can only take 1 with us. They both have a 3. They both contain an x. And they both contain 3 y's, and not 4, so just 3 of them. Right? The one in red only has 3 to give, so the one in blue, even though it has 4, that's 1 too many. We want things to go into both, so we need only the y to the third. So that leaves us with 2 times 3 times x times y to the third, or rather 6xy to the third. And so that's the GCF, or greatest common factor, of those two monomials. That's the largest number that divides out of both of these. Okay, so that's how you'd find the GCF for those numbers. For now, we are done.